We have just learned, as the Chancellor has just said, that Alexei Navalny has died in a Russian prison. Obviously, he was killed by Putin, like thousands of others who have been tormented, tortured because of this one person. Putin doesn't care who dies as long as he retains his position, and that is why he must not keep anything. Putin must lose everything. He must not retain anything and must be held accountable for what he has done.
Good afternoon. I am deeply saddened and concerned about the reports coming from Russia that Alexei Navalny is dead. All the facts has to be established, and Russia has serious questions to answer. Alexei Navalny has been a strong voice for freedom, for democracy for many years, and NATO and NATO allies have called for his immediate release for a long time. And today my thoughts go to his family and his loved ones, and we remain committed to support everyone that believes in democracy and freedom, as Alexei Navalny has done for so many years. Sorry, I can do.
Causes of the death of Navalny?
We don't have any information now. That's the reason why it is important to have all facts established, and why Russia has some very serious questions to answer. What we have seen is that Russia has become a more and more authoritarian power, that they have used oppression against opposition for many years. And of course, he was in jail, he was a prisoner, and that makes it extremely important that Russia now answer all the questions that will be asked about the cause of the death.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I report on our talks and the cooperation between Germany and Ukraine, let me turn to a piece of news that has now reached us all. It has not yet been conclusively confirmed, but we must assume with a high degree of probability that it is true, namely that Mr. Navalny has died in a Russian prison. And that is something that is very depressing. I met Mr. Navalny here in Berlin when he was in Germany trying to recover from the poisoning attack. And I also spoke to him about the great courage it took to go back to the country. And he has probably now paid for this courage with his life. But we now, if we didn't already know, exactly what kind of regime this is. Anyone who voices criticism, who stands up for democracy, must fear for their safety and their lives. And that is why we are all very depressed. We feel with the family, the wife and children and all the relatives and friends. And this is a terrible thing. Also a sign of how Russia has changed after the hopeful developments that unfortunately now feel a long time ago, which were in the direction of democracy. This is no longer a democracy and has not been for a long time now.
But do you believe that? Like, what is your first reaction?
Well, that would be a horrible thing. I would track his condition constantly, but I haven't heard that. I hope that that is not true. It would be a horrible thing. Starvation, lack of care in the prison conditions, is that what he died from, or do you think it was an affirmative act? I think we have to find out more, but in any case, it's a horrible tragedy if it is so. But his imprisonment is a horrible tragedy, period. Thank you.
To jest ogromnie smutna wiadomość, ogromnie smutna dla nas wszystkich.
This is extremely sad news, extremely sad for all of us who knew how much suffering Alexei Navalny went through because of his own decision. He could have stayed in the West, lived safely with his family, prosperously, and yet with full understanding of where he was returning, he decided to return to Russia, saying that it was his homeland. He wanted to fight for change in his homeland, for democratic change. He was sent to prison, he was treated terribly in prison, he was sent to detention almost 30 times, he was tortured, and he went through an absolute nightmare. He maintained some incredible fortitude throughout this time, as we know to his lawyers from various leaks to him on social media, but the dictator's revenge caught up with him. This is Putin's personal revenge. Putin took revenge on someone who dared to criticize him, who, in Putin's opinion, dared to insult him and simply murdered Navalny. This is not death, this is murder.
Się zemścił na kimś, kto ośmielił się go krytykować, kto w przekonaniu Putina ośmielił się go znieważyć i po prostu